Forecast for the week of May 20th. I'm Sarah Nicole. This is Twisted Goddess Tarot, and my mission is to help you navigate the cosmic energies with greater awareness. If you're watching right now, you are probably watching the replay. If that's the case, leave a comment so I can come back and say hi to you. If you're new here, we do this every Monday where I chat about what is happening in the skies to bring light to how this week's astrology may affect you. Of course, this is going to be on a collective level. How these astrological events affect you personally is going to depend on your personal birth chart and how these events are interacting with your personal birth chart. All right, so let's get started. Oh, I want to grab these over here before we get started because I'm going to be showing them. So today, Monday, May 20th, we welcome Gemini season as the sun moves into Gemini until June 20th. So whether you are Gemini or not, well, first of all, I don't even want to say whether you are Gemini because I'm trying to get away from that verbiage. Like, for instance, I have an Aquarius sun, and typically I would say I'm an Aquarius, but that's not true. We all have all 12 signs in our birth chart. We all have all of those energies within us. So what we mean when we say, if you were a Gemini sun, what you would mean when you say I'm a Gemini is I have a Gemini sun. My sun is in Gemini. So whether you have a Gemini sun or not, we are all going to be feeling this energy over the next month because the sun is our life force, right? It is what is beaming down energy to us here. And so it's going to be beaming down that Gemini energy over the next month until June 20th. So let's talk about Gemini and get to know Gemini energy a little bit. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of the mind. It is represented by the twins, acknowledging duality and reminding us of the need for adaptability to view life from different angles. In tarot, Gemini is represented by the Lover's Tarot card, which a lot of people relate the tarot card, the Lovers, to love because that's what it is called, but oftentimes it is actually representing the choices that we make in our life. Okay, because the card right after the Lover's card is the Chariot, where we take action on those choices, where we move forward on those choices. So it represents the choices that we make in our life. So as the sun moves into the constellation of Gemini, you may feel the energy and focus moving from your lower energy centers, from the body, because the sun is moving from Taurus, which is a very earthly, very body-focused sign, really focused on those lower three energy centers, your root, your sacral, your solar plexus. And now we're really feeling that energy move from the body up into the upper energy centers, your throat, your third eye, your crown, up into the mind. So this is usually a time where energy starts to pick up and we become more social, more inquisitive, more open to change and new experiences. So if you have a Gemini sun, claim your season. Let us know in the comments. If you have a Gemini sun in your life, tag them, wish them a happy solar return. And then for a great gift to yourself or your Gemini friends, you can check out the birthday tarot reading on my website. So I do have some crystal recommendations for Gemini season, and you can pick up this Gemini season crystal bundle on the Twisted Goddess Crystals website. It is linked in this video. But let's go over those crystal recommendations for Gemini season. And like I said, this is good for all of us. We're all going to be navigating Gemini season. So even though, even if you are not a Gemini or you do not have a Gemini sun, these crystals are going to be really helpful for just navigating Gemini season as a whole. So my first recommendation is Caribbean blue calcite to encourage calm thoughts and communication and to represent that duality of Gemini, as this stone really represents the blue waters meeting those tan sands. My next recommendation is serpentine, which is a Gemini crystal. So it's said to help balance the incoming energies and really ground them into the body, because Gemini is highly aware that they are a spiritual being in a physical body. They have that duality, the yin and the yang, the as above, so below, right? So serpentine is going to help take those, since we have so much energy focused on the upper energy centers, it's going to help to ground those down. My next recommendation is a rainbow moonstone, or regular moonstone would be beautiful as well. Moonstone is one of Gemini's birthstones, and it is said to stimulate new beginnings, help that Gemini energy rely on intuitive thought rather than the logical mind, the lower mind, and it's said to help balance emotions. I recommend rainbow fluorite. I have a beautiful faceted rainbow fluorite bracelet right here. That's what's going to come in the Gemini season bundle. So what I'm showing you is what's going to come in the Gemini season bundle. Rainbow fluorite helps purify scattered energy and bring focus, right? Bring that focus in, because Gemini season can be a little bit too much in the mind, a little bit scattered, a little bit all over the place. So fluorite's going to help bring that focus in. Next recommendation is lepidolite, one of my absolute favorite crystals, to help promote mental balance, to help promote emotional stability, and to help release fear and release overthinking, which is something that Gemini energy can bring. And my last crystal recommendation for Gemini season is Dalmatian jasper. So I have a little mini moon here because that's what's coming in the Gemini season crystal bundle. But any Dalmatian jasper would do. So Dalmatian jasper represents the duality. It also helps to ignite that playful social energy that Gemini is really known for, that the highest vibration of Gemini is really known for, all by bringing that grounded energy to an active and restless mind. So those are your Gemini season crystal recommendations, and you can get them as a bundle right now on my website. There's only 2 bundles available. So then on Thursday is really the busy week, day this week, okay? So we have a lot happening on Thursday, so plug in, because the next few things we're going to talk about are Thursday. First of all, we have a full moon on Thursday, May 23rd. We have the full moon at 2 degrees Sagittarius. So the full moon marks the peak of the lunar cycle, and it occurs when the sun and the moon form an opposition, sitting exactly across the zodiac from each other. So since the sun is going to be in Gemini, the full moon is going to happen in the sister sign of Sagittarius. So the opposition aspect really calls for balance while it mirrors energy. It confronts hidden energies, and it makes the subconscious conscious. So the full moon's themes include illumination, gratitude, and celebration. Illumination, because it is often said that when the moon is full, your emotions and your intuition is supercharged. This is due to the principle of as above, so below. So I always say it is like the full moon is like the universe is leaving a night light on for us. We can see clearly. We're not going to stub our toe on anything because we can see we have a night light, right? So it's really allowing us to see more. This is a beautiful time to sit in meditation, ask for illumination on the topics that you may not be able to see clearly otherwise. Gratitude and celebration, while the light of the moon is full, you are guided to look around and notice what is also full within and around you. So it's really a beautiful time of illumination, of celebration, of gratitude. I know some people like to release on the full moon. I always say do what feels good to you, but astrologically speaking, the full moon is a time for celebration, gratitude, and illumination, whereas the release is more aligned with the last quarter or third quarter moon. So also any crystals, any water, any other spiritual tools that are charged under the full moon are going to hold the energy of power and success. While you can choose to celebrate, give gratitude, or ask for illumination around any area of your life, it can be really extra potent if you focus your energy towards the area of your life that this particular full moon is activating. So this can be done by seeing what house 2 degrees Sagittarius is in your birth chart, and then centering your full moon practice around the area of your life that corresponds to that house in your birth chart. I can also do this for you each month in my monthly full moon reading that combines astrology, tarot, and oracle cards. Again, you can find that on my website under the Twisted Goddess Tarot services. Here is the card for the full moon in Sagittarius, and it says to see the bigger picture. So one thing with the full moon, right? It's a time for that celebration. What is full within and around me? Where have I grown, right? So with the Sagittarius full moon, we really want to zoom out. We really want to look at the big picture. Sometimes when we get a little too focused on the small details, we can miss the big growth, that's happening around us. So really zoom out and look at things from a bird's eye view. Take off the tunnel view glasses. You may find more to celebrate and more to be grateful for than you expected when you zoom out, when you see that big picture. So that is what this beautiful Sagittarius full moon is going to be teaching us. And the ruler of this full moon is, since it's in Sagittarius, is Jupiter. And so we're going to be talking about Jupiter in a little bit, because Jupiter is doing some really beautiful things on the day of this full moon, which is making this month's full moon a really, really beautiful energy. I don't know how to explain it other than a beautiful energy. So let's talk a little bit more about what is going to be happening, what Jupiter is going to be doing on that day. So the ruler of this month's full moon, Jupiter. So on Saturday, on Thursday, May 23rd, excuse me, my notes got a little mixed up. So we're going to be having the ruler of this beautiful full moon that is also happening on Thursday, May 23rd. Jupiter is going to be conjunct Venus at 29 degrees Taurus, and they're also going to be creating a sextile. A sextile is an aspect that brings us opportunities and blessings. So it's one of the positive aspects within astrology to Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces. So we have Jupiter and Venus forming a conjunction, meeting together in the sky. When two planets meet together in the sky, they merge their energies, okay? And so they're the two benefics in astrology. So they're the two planets that really bring us a lot of blessings and a lot of abundance. Venus is the planet of love and beauty, right? And then Jupiter is the planet of luck, abundance, expansion. So we have these two planets coming together. So Jupiter is going to be really amplifying the love in your life, the beauty in your life. And then Venus is really going to be, asking Jupiter to expand on the love and the beauty and all of that. And so it's just this beautiful, beautiful energy in Taurus. So Jupiter is about to leave Taurus. Venus is about to leave Taurus. And so they're meeting together at the end of this Taurus cycle to really just kind of add a little kiss of sweetness at the very end of that Taurus transit for both of them, which I think is really beautiful. So if you've been creating some new foundations in your life over the past month and over the past year, especially foundations in your values, foundations in what you're willing to accept, foundations in your self-love, foundations in your self-worth, foundations in your self-esteem. If you've been really creating some new foundations in that area, this Venus and Jupiter conjunction happening on the day of the full moon is on the Jupiter ruled full moon is really kind of just going to add a dash of sweetness. Maybe the work that you were doing, it felt daunting, laying down those new foundations in relation to your values, in relation to your self-worth and your self-value. Maybe the past year you've been doing a lot of that work, but it's felt like it's been growing really slowly. Then this day is just going to it's going to be a day where it's like all the work is finally realized. That's what it feels like to me. All the work is finally realized. And then they're creating this beautiful sextile to Neptune, the planet of spirituality, the planet of magic, the planet of mysticism, which is sitting in Pisces. But we do also have to remember that Neptune is also the planet of illusions. And so it feels as though perhaps we can see some of the peek through some of those illusions with Jupiter and Venus, you know, Venus being self-love as well, right? All love, but self-love as well. And Jupiter being expansion and abundance and luck and blessings and being able to access our blessings. And they're creating this sextile to Neptune, which kind of feels as if these two planets, Venus and Jupiter, are allowing the illusions, how we've been seeing ourselves not clearly, possibly in a lower light, right? It feels like they're allowing that to be uplifted. So if you've been seeing yourself, your self-value, your self-worth through an illusion light, through a lower illusion light, this feels like a day where we can kind of finally have that aha moment of like, oh, all the work I've been doing has been taking hold. It's just been such a slow, gradual process that I couldn't see it until now, right? So that's what that feels like. It feels really, really beautiful. Also on Thursday, May 23rd, later in the day, we have Venus leaving Taurus and moving into Gemini, where it will stay until June 17th. And again, Venus is the planet of love and beauty, and Gemini is the social butterfly of the zodiac. So I always like to call Venus and Gemini spring fling season. So it's a time that we, yes, even us introverts, can feel more social, flirty, chatty. It's a really curious energy. So really just allow yourself to explore. And then the last thing we're going to talk about this week before I leave you all is Saturday, May 25th, one of the big astrological events of the year. We have Jupiter leaving Taurus and moving into Gemini, where it will stay until June 9th, 2025. So Jupiter takes about a year to go through a sign. So every year we have Jupiter move into a different sign, and remember, Jupiter is the planet of abundance, expansion, opportunity. So wherever it is currently moving through is where you can expect an extra dash of luck. It's also the area of your life where you're being asked to grow and expand in. So you can check what house Gemini resides in your birth chart to see what area of your life you're being asked to grow and expand in, and where the universe is going to be providing some extra luck over the next year. On Saturday, I will make an expanded post about Jupiter leaving Taurus and moving into Gemini. And I will go over what area Jupiter is leaving for you based on your rising sign for reflection of your growth in that area, as well as what area of life Jupiter is entering based on your rising sign for preparation of expansion in that area. But overall, for the last year, Jupiter has been in slow, earthy, fixed sign Taurus. While this was a really beautiful time to expand on your values and your self-worth, it is also a very slow expansion. It can feel too slow sometimes. So now that Jupiter is moving into Gemini this week, the planet of luck, growth, and expansion is going to be activating a different area of your life. You may have to focus your energies differently in order to access the same abundance. This is a more cerebral energy. So it's been in Taurus, which is a very earthy, in the body energy. Okay. And so this is going to be a more cerebral energy, a more of the mind energy. So your mind is going to be like a sponge, and it's going to be really important to monitor what you're allowing your mind to soak up, making sure that your thoughts, because Jupiter is going to be amplifying the lower mind. What you allow yourself to soak up is going to be amplified. So it's going to be extra important to really monitor what you're allowing your mind to soak up, making sure that your thoughts aren't self-limiting or self-deprecating, making sure you're surrounding yourself with people who speak not from a negative place or a lower place, making sure that the music music you're listening to or the media you're consuming is something that is aligned with where you want to be. Okay, I'm not, and we're going to talk a little bit about the toxic positivity thing. I'm not saying toxic positivity, and I'm not saying don't allow the harder to express emotions. There's a difference between harder to express emotions, difficult emotions that bring us lessons like fear and anger and sadness and grief. Those aren't bad. Those aren't negative, right? So when somebody says be positive, it doesn't mean to not experience those emotions. It just means to not come at it from a negative point of view, from a woe is me, pity party, victim mentality. Really, that's what it means, okay? So creating a really peaceful mental state is going to be required to access your gifts while Jupiter is in Gemini. I'm also hearing that discernment is going to be crucial, discerning what you're allowing to be soaked up, right? So this energy is also going to urge you to have a positive outlook, not toxic positivity, but really looking. Positive outlook doesn't mean not paying attention to the difficult things. That's not what it means. Positive outlook means that we're looking for the opportunities even in challenging situations. Okay, that's what positive outlook means. So it also urges you, this Jupiter in Gemini is also really going to urge you to use your communication, to speak what you seek until you see what you said. There's a reminder to stay curious and to stay adaptable throughout this year, and to put yourself out there. See, while Jupiter was in Taurus, it was fine to be a little hard-headed. It was fine to be a little stubborn, right? Because the planet of luck was in that sign, saying it's okay to kind of dig your feet in and say, no, this is going to work. But Jupiter in Gemini, we can't operate that same way. We're going to have to be more curious and more adaptable because we're moving from a fixed sign to a more adaptable sign, right? So that is what we are doing. So adaptable, we're also going to be reminded to put ourselves out there in order to access that abundance. You're going to have to put yourself out there to be social, to promote yourself. There's also this energy, which I am laughing. There was one person that I chatted with this weekend, and she's going to get this. She's going to get this. And I didn't think about it until I went back to my yearly forecast and I looked at what I wrote for Jupiter in Gemini, and it's coming up, and I'm already gearing myself up for this kind of energy, right? Jupiter and Gemini energy. I'm already gearing up for it at the beginning of this week. So Jupiter in Gemini gives us an energy of I can have it all. No, those, which one do you want? Do you like coffee or tea? Do you like chocolate or vanilla? It's like, why can't I have it all? Why can't I have both? I want both. Why can't I have it all? Right? So the duality of the Gemini twins is why not both? And I said that this weekend to someone, that commercial of the little girl and they're deciding between the hard shell or the soft shell tacos. And she goes, why not both? And I had said that to someone that was trying to pick out between two necklaces. And I said, why not both? And her son came up and he said the same thing. Why not both? And he didn't hear me say that. That is Jupiter in Gemini energy. Why not both? Why do I have to choose? Okay. One thing that I do want to mention is that, and yes, I'm spending a lot of time talking about this because this is a big thing. This is going to impact us for the next year. It's not just a couple weeks like Mercury. It's not just a month like the sun. It's a whole year we're going to be feeling this energy. So I really want you to understand the energy of this transit because it's going to be affecting you for the next year. One thing I do want to mention is that Jupiter does not always love being in Gemini because it's opposite of its home sign Sagittarius. Jupiter is expansive. It wants to look at the big picture, at the bird's eye view. It is the higher mind, whereas Gemini can sometimes get stuck in the tunnel vision of the small details of the lower mind. So really be sure to seek balance there over the next year. So that is our Astro Forecast for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. The replay is going to be available for you so you can come back and rewatch it as many times as you'd like and remind yourself of what is happening throughout this week. So much love to you. I will see you next week.